Hello everyone, I am Himanshu Vasanani from Department of Mechanical Engineering. I am here to discuss you on a subject non-destructive evaluation and testing. The subject code is ME419, unit number 2 and the lecture 12 in the series. Okay, today we are discussing on lecture number 12. The topics are controlling radiographic quality, film processing and radiation safety. So let's start off with today's lecture. Today's learning objectives are to provide the students with a basic understanding of controlling radiographic quality, film processing, and to know about radiation safety measures. Now, the outcome after this lecture will be students will have an understanding of controlling radiographic quality, film processing, and student will understand various factors influencing radiation safety. Okay, so they will be able to understand what measures they should take for radiation safety and how they can also control the radiographic quality. So let's start with this. Film characteristic curves. See, we have studied about how did we uh, how the process of radiographic testing has been done. We studied about all the equipments that were used in the radiographic testing machine individually also. We studied about gamma rays. We studied about isotopes. We studied about X-ray machine. We studied about basic films. We studied about backscattering. We studied about lead films. So now we are studying about film characteristics curves. In film radiography, the number of photons reaching the film determines how dense the film will become when other factors such as developing time are held constant. The number of photons reaching the film is a function of the intensity of the radiation and the time that the film is exposed to the radiation. Okay, we all know that there the photons reaching the film. Okay, they are also a very important part of you can say this testing process. So the intensity of the radiation and the time that the film exposed to the radiation, these are also important factors. The term used to describe the control of the number of photons reaching the film is exposure. It is called exposure. Different types of radiographic films respond differently to a given amount of exposure. Okay, film manufacturers commonly characterize their film to determine the relationship between applied exposure and resulting film density. Okay, so we have options available with us. We can control the number of photons reaching the film. Okay, now next. So in the right side, you can see a typical film characteristic curves. You can see the three diagram film A, film B, film C of red, blue, and black color. On the horizontal axis, you have logarithm of relative exposure, and on the vertical axis, you have film density. Okay, so they have different values. Like in film length, you have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and in the horizontal axis, you have also 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this relationship commonly varies over a range of film densities, so that the data is presented in the form of a curve, such as one of for Kodak AA 4 not shown to the right. They have given you an example. This plot is usually called a film characteristic curve or density curve. Okay, it can also be called as a density curve. A log scale is sometimes used for the x-axis, or it is more common that the values are reported in log units on a linear scale as they have shown in this figure. Okay, sometimes they go for a log scale. Okay, on the horizontal axis, or some may say it is standard on the x-axis. Okay, and it is more common that the values are reported in log units only on a linear scale. Okay, also relative exposure values, those are unitless, are often used. Okay, now relative exposure is the ratio of two exposures. So when it go for a particular value, it is unitless because it is the ratio of two exposures. Okay, like for example, if one film is exposed at 100 kV for 6 mA per minute and a second film is exposed at the same energy for 3 mA per minute, and then the relative exposure is what? The ratio of these two exposures. So the ratio of these two exposures will be 2. 6 upon 3 is equals to 2. So the location of the characteristic curve of different films along the x-axis relates to the speed of the film. Okay, the location of the characteristic curves of different film along the x-axis relates to the speed of the film. Okay, the farther to the right that a curve is on the chart, the slower the film speed. Like here, you can see in this previous diagram, film A first, then film B, and then film C. Okay, so here what they say, the film A has higher speed, and while film C has the lower speed. Okay, the farthest to the right that a curve is on the chart, the slower the film speed. So film A, which is you can say in the starting, that film A, so it has the high speed, and film C has the slow speed. So from the this curve also, from the film characteristic curve also, you can find out these film speeds. The shape of the characteristic curve is largely independent of the wavelength of the X-ray or gamma ray. Okay, but the location of the curve along the x-axis with respect to the curve of another film does depend on radiation quality. Okay, this curve is independent of the wavelength of the X-ray or gamma rays, but the location of the curve along the x-axis, the horizontal axis, with respect to the curve of another film does depend on radiation quality. So these kind of curves, like this film characteristic curve, they can be used to adjust the exposure used to produce a radiograph with sensitivity. Okay, these curves can be used to adjust the exposure, used to produce a radiograph with certain density. Okay, to an exposure that will produce a second radiograph of higher or lower film density. Here we also have studied previously also that this film characteristic curve is also called as density curve. So if we relate this word density curve here also, so we can understand that this curve can be used to adjust the exposure used to produce a radiograph with certain density to an exposure. Okay, that will produce a second radiograph of higher or lower film density. The curves can also be used to relate the exposure produced with one type of film to exposure needed to produce a radiograph of the same speed with a second type of film. Okay, you can relate the exposure also. Like, because in one type of film, the exposure that you use, that can also be needed to produce a radiograph of same density with second kind of film. So in this way, you can relate also. Okay. Okay. Let's go for the next slide. Now, exposure calculations. See, whatever we are doing, whatever we are testing, either we are testing on the surface, either we are testing inside the workpiece, like finding out the internal cavities or internal defects or internal discontinuities. So there are some experimentations done, and every experimentation done needs has some calculations. So in radiographic testing, we go for exposure calculations. Okay, there are some exposure calculations for which we need to understand some variables that these calculations include. So here we will just discuss the various variables that you can say are included when radiographic testing, or you can say while reading a radiograph. So exposure calculations. The proper often a trial and error process, as there are many variables that affect the final radiograph. So some of the variables that affect the density of radiograph, these include the spectrum of radiation produced by the X-ray generator. Okay, in which spectrum of radiation produced by the X-ray generator, the potential voltage used to generate the X-rays. We have previously studied also how the voltage potential is used. Okay, so it is given in used to generate X-rays. The amperage used to generate X-rays. Then the most important thing, the exposure time. Based upon the experimentation, the exposure time should be such that proper image is captured. The distance between the radiation source and the film. Then the material of the component being radiographed. Then the thickness of the material that the radiation must travel through. Okay, here these 2 points are very important. The material of the component being radiographed, and then the thickness of the material that the radiation must travel through. Then the amount of scattered radiation reaching the film. Scattered radiation, we have studied about this scattered radiation also. Then the films being used for this testing purpose. Then the use of LED screens or fluorescent screens. We studied about the application of both these screens, LED screens and fluorescent screens. The concentration of the film, processing chemicals, and the contact time. So these are the variables. These are the points that should be considered, that should be keep in mind, because these points, these variables, they affect the density of the radiograph. Okay, let's go further. The current industrial practice is to develop a procedure that produces an acceptable density by trial for each specific X-ray generator. That you all know that this is very important. This may be begin using published exposure charts to determine a starting exposure, which usually requires some refinement. Okay, you have a published exposure chart. Okay, but they also require some refinement based upon the upgrading of technology that we are having with us. However, it is possible to calculate the density of a radiograph to an acceptable degree of accuracy when the spectrum of X-ray generator when the spectrum of X-ray generator has been characterized. Okay, with the help of these curves and everything. The calculation cannot completely account for scattering, but otherwise the relationship between many of the variables and their effect on film density is known. Okay, these are the pros available with us. We have to take care of these also. Therefore, the change in film density can be estimated for any given variable change. You can understand the change in film density. You can estimate it for any given variable change. Okay, like for example, Newton's inverse law, Newton inverse square law that we have studied previously also. So from Newton inverse square law, it is known that the intensity of radiation varies inversely with the square of the distance from the source. It is also known that the density of the radiation transmitted through a material varies exponentially with the linear attenuation coefficient and the thickness of the material. Okay, by calculating the intensity from these equations, one can directly calculate the required exposure, knowing that exposure is inversely related to the intensity, as intensity of 1 into exposure 1 is equals to intensity 2 into exposure 2. Okay, now I'll show you this. This is a figure. So in this, oh, this figure is having two materials. One is aluminium and one is steel. Now this figure shows exemplary exposure charts. These are exposure charts. You can see on the left hand side, on the, you can say on the vertical axis, there is written exposure. So these are exposure charts for two materials. One is aluminium, one is steel. For a specific X-ray generator, okay, for the flowing parameters, okay, a film density of 2.0 without screen, 910 source to film distance. Now these are the parameters, the variables it is given. That film density is 2.0 without screen, 910 source to film distance, then Industrex AA film, and 7 minutes development time. So with these variables, they have got these exposure charts for different two materials, aluminum and steel. Okay, you can see the thickness in millimeters given on the horizontal axis of these two materials. Okay, and you can see the variations it is having. Like, okay, they have different values given to you. So you can understand that how these exposure charts are prepared. Considered the variables should be properly available with us. Okay, the gamma ray sources, however, the required exposure can be more easily calculated since the radiation spectrum is well known for each different radiation source. The exposure is usually expressed in Curie time units. Okay, Curie time means Curie time. Time can be in hours, can be in seconds, can be in minutes. Okay, it depends on the experiment. It depends on the procedure. Okay, the exposure is usually expressed in Curie time units, and the data can be represented in the form of charts or in tabulated form. Okay, you can see there is a you can say a diagram shown on the right hand side. Okay, the figure shows a typical exposure chart for 18192 at the following parameters like film density 1.75 without screen, 455 source to film distance, second fold film, and 6 minutes development time. They have given you a exposure chart. Okay, they have two materials like steel and lead. I want to just give you a just idea. You can see when they in the previous chart when they were showing, you can see the changing of variables. Okay, in this exposure chart, they have also used two materials. Okay, but their film density was of 2.0 without steam. Then they have a different source to distance, source to film distance. Then the development time was different. Okay, you can see on the left hand side. But here also in the next chart, you can easily see that there was you can chart of, it was having a film density without steam. It was also having a source to film distance. Then development time also was there in this. Okay, so this is how they are developing a exposure chart. Okay, with different parameters or with different variables. Okay, now it should be noted that such charts are valid for the specified parameters. Okay, they are parameters, and they for that only these charts are variable. But of course, using the data in the charts, one can calculate the exposure for different set of parameters, such as different source to film distance, different type of film, or different density. So you have the data, you have the approximate values. So you can calculate if any data in between is missing from the available database. Okay, so these charts can be helpful. These charts can be helpful for calculating the exposure for different sets of parameters. Okay, so they've given you just these two examples that I've shown you. Now controlling radiograph quality. Okay, this is also a very important thing, that how do we control the radiographic quality, because a process can be done, but if its process is controlled and its quality is maintained, then the output is automatically better. Okay, so we have to maintain the quality as well also. Okay, so one of the methods of controlling the quality of a radiograph is through the use of image quality indicators. This term IQI, it will come many times in between the PPT. So IQI stands for image quality indicators. Okay, so one of the methods of controlling the quality of a radiograph is through the use of image quality indicators IQI, which are also referred to as penetrometers. Okay, we can control the quality of a radiograph through the use of these IQI image quality indicators, and these are also referred to as penetrometers. We have to understand this term also. So image quality indicators, they means of visually informing the film interpreter of the contrast sensitivity. We have studied about this contrast. Okay, say like there is a difference in the image having object of different thicknesses. So you can see the contrast, that it has a thicker workpiece or it is a thinner workpiece. Contrast sensitivity and definition of the radiograph. How clear the radiograph is shown. Okay. The IQI indicates that a specified amount of change in material thickness. The image quality indicators indicates that a specified amount of change in material thickness will be detectable in the radiograph, and that the radiograph has a definition certain level of definition, so that the density changes are not lost due to unsharpness. Okay, now without such a reference point, consistency and quality would not be maintained, and defects would go undetected. And we have to avoid this thing. We have to have a consistency, maintain consistency, and we are not we should not compromise with the quality. We have to maintain the quality. We have to find out the defects, the discontinuities. Okay, because our purpose of radiography testing is that only, to find out the defects and the discontinuities available in the required workpiece. Okay, so image quality indicators should be placed on the source side of the part, on the source side of the part, over a section with a material thickness equivalent to the region of interest. These indicators should be placed on the source side of the part. Okay, if possible, if this is not possible, sorry, if this is not possible, the image quality indicators may be placed on a block of similar material and thickness to the region of interest. Okay, now when you can see on the diagram also there is a penetrometer written. Penetrometer is equivalent name for IQI, image quality indicator. Okay, when a block is used, the image quality indicators should be the same distance from the film. as it would be if placed directly on the part in the region of interest. When a block is used, the image quality indicator should be the same distance from the film as it would be if placed directly on the part in the region of interest. You can see in the diagram where the film is in the bottom, the subject is in the between, and all that the penetrometer is placed. The image quality indicator should also be placed slightly away from the edge of the part so that at least three of its edges are visible in the radiograph. Okay, so at least three of its edges are visible in the radiograph. The image quality indicators take many shapes and forms due to various codes and standards that invoke their use. Okay, there are many shapes and forms, but still, to be precise, the two most commonly used image quality indicators types are hole type and the wire image quality indicators. Hole type and the wire image quality indicators. These image quality indicators they come in a variety of material types so that one with radiation absorption characteristics so that one with radiation absorption characteristics similar to the material being radiographed can be used. Similar to the material being radiographed can be used. So there are so there is IQI image quality indicators. They come in a variety of material types. Okay, so that they can be used similar to the material being radiographed if possible. Okay. Now we are discussing about the types of IQI. Whole type IQI. Whole type image quality indicators. Now ASTM standard E1025 gives detailed requirement for the design and material group classification of the whole type image quality indicators. The whole type IQI image quality indicators are classified in 8 groups based on their radiation absorption characteristics. Okay, a notching system is used to indicate the IQI material. The number on the IQI indicate the same thickness that the IQI would typically be placed on. Also, the holes of different sizes, the holes of different sizes are present where these holes should be visible on the radiographs. Since the name of the type is also hole type IQI, so they have holes of different sizes. Okay, and these holes should be visible on the radiograph. It should be noted that the IQI image quality indicators is used. It is used to indicate the quality of the radiographic technique, not intended to be used as a measure of the size of a cavity that can be located on a radiograph. See, the name says hole type IQI. So it this indicator, this image quality indicator, it may have holes of different sizes, and these holes should be visible on the radiograph. But there is a point that these IQI, the purpose of IQI is used to indicate the quality of the radiographic technique. Okay, not intended to be used as a measure of the size of a cavity that can be located on the radiograph. Okay, now wire image quality indicators. Okay, ASTM standard E747 covers the radiographic examination of materials using wire image quality indicators to control image quality. You are controlling image quality in this. Wire image quality indicators consist of a set of 6 wires arranged in order of increasing diameters. See, the wires will have different diameters, so increasing diameters, and encapsulated between two sheets of clear plastic. Okay, this system consists of 6 wires arranged in increasing diameter. Okay, first the lower diameter and the last diameter will be the biggest diameter. Increasing diameter. Okay, and encapsulated between two sheets of clear plastic. Now, wire image quality indicators are grouped in 4 sets, each having different range of wire diameter. Okay, these are grouped in 4 sets, each having different range of wire diameters. The set letter A, B, C, or D is shown in the in the lower right corner of the image quality indicator. The number in the lower left corner indicates the material group. Okay, you can see in this diagram also there is a letter that is shown on the lower right corner. It is written B here. Okay, and the number on the left hand corner indicates the material group. Okay, so this is like something which is called a wire IQI, wire image quality indicator. You can see in the diagram also. Now film processing. Now this is also we can say very important topic. Now radiographic film, they consist of a transparent blue tinted base. Okay, coated on both sides with an emulsion. We have already discussed while in films processing. Now the emulsion consists of a gelatin containing microscopic radiation sensitive silver halide crystals such as silver bromide and silver chloride. So when X-rays, gamma rays or light rays, they strike the crystals or grains, some of the Br minus ions, Br is the bromide ions, are liberated, leaving the Ag plus ions, okay, silver ions. In this condition, the radiograph is said to contain a latent hidden image because the change in the grains is virtually undetectable. But the exposed grains are now more sensitive to reaction with the developer. Now, when this film is exposed, is processed, not exposed, when the film is processed, it is exposed to several different chemical solutions for controlled period of time. Okay, now this whole film processing system, this involves 5 steps for processing. These 5 steps are the grains to metallic silver, silver halide grains to metallic silver, grains that have been exposed to the radiation more, develop more rapidly. Okay, but given enough time, the developer will convert all the silver ions into silver metal. The grains that have been exposed to the radiation, they develop more rapidly, but enough time, the developer will convert all the silver ions into silver metal. So this is an important thing. Proper temperature control is needed to convert exposed grains to pure silver while keeping unexposed grains as silver halide crystals. So in this way, the development process takes place with the help of developing agent. Okay, what the development do? It gives up the electrons and converts silver halide to metallic silver. Now stopping the development. The stop bath simply stops the development process by diluting and washing the developer away with water. Okay. After certain time, they stop the development. Then fixing. Unexposed silver halide crystals are removed by fixing bath. The fixer dissolves only silver halide crystals, leaving the silver metal behind. Then you go with the washing process. The film is washed with water to remove all the processing chemicals. And last, drying. The drying process, the film is dried for viewing. In the drying process, the film is dried for viewing. Then this film processing, okay, is a strict science governed by rigid rules of chemical concentration, temperature, time, and physical movement. Whether processing is done by hand or automatically by a machine, excellent radiographs require a high degree of consistency and quality control. While processing these all five processes, or for film processing like development, stopping the development, then fixing, then washing and drying, you have to maintain a degree of consistency. And if you maintain this degree of consistency, your quality will be controlled. Okay, and you will be able to develop an excellent radiographs. These radiographs, these high quality radiographs will have a good quality. Okay, then viewing radiographs. After the film processing, radiographs are viewed using a light box, or they can be digitized and viewed on a high resolution monitor. You might have seen in the you can in the hospitals also they have a high resolution monitor. They are used. They are viewed. They are viewing these radiographs on that. So the radiographs are viewed using a light box, or they can be digitized and viewed on a high resolution monitor in order to be interpreted. In addition to providing diffused, adjustable, white illumination of uniform intensity, specialized industrial radiography light boxes, including magnifying and masking agent. Okay, they have given you an example on the right hand side. You can see when handling the radiograph, thin cotton gloves should be worn to prevent fingertips on the radiograph. Okay, the radiograph, your fingerprints can create some illusions. So you have to use thin cotton gloves so that your fingerprints do not come on the radiographs while viewing. Now, radiation safety. Okay, this radiation safety is very important nowadays because this, if you avoid safety, then it will lead to some risks, and risks are disadvantages. Okay, some risk may lead to some health problems also. So we have to take radiation safety. The health risks are associated with radiation is considered to be one of the major disadvantages of radiography. The amount of risk depends on the amount of radiation dose received, the time over which the dose is received, and the body part exposed. You can see the importance of organs. The amount of risk depends on the amount of radiation dose received, the time over which on which the dose is received, and the body part exposed. The fact that X-ray and gamma ray radiations are not detectable by the human senses complicates matters further. We know that these two rays are not undetectable. These are not detectable by humans. So, however, the risk can be minimized and controlled when the radiation is handled and managed properly in accordance to the radiation safety rules. Okay, they should have managed with the proper rules. The active laws all over the world require that individuals working in the field of radiography receive training on the safe handling and use of radioactive materials and radiation producing devices. They train the people who are involved in these kind of testing. So it can be said that radiation ranks among the most thoroughly investigated and somehow understood the causes of disease. The primary risk from occupational radiation exposure is an increased risk of cancer. This is an occupational radiation exposure. It can be called as a risk, and the risk is cancer. Although scientists assume that low level of radiation exposure increases one's risk of cancer, medical studies have not demonstrated adverse health effects in individuals exposed to small chronic radiation doses. Now, the occurrence of particular health effects from exposure to ionizing radiation is it is a complicated function of numerous factors like the type of radiation involved. Okay, then all kinds of ionizing radiations can produce health effects. Okay, the main difference in the ability of alpha and beta and gamma and X-rays is to call health effect is the amount of energy they have. Alpha particles have different energy, beta particles have different energy, gamma rays have different penetrating strength, X-rays have different penetrating strength. So amount of energy they have, that is the amount of health effects these rays, these particles can affect. Their energy determines how far they can penetrate into the issue. That is their function. How far they can penetrate into the issue and how much energy they are able to transmit directly or indirectly to the tissues. So a type of radiation in which the involved, then the health effects can be seen. Then size of dose received. The higher the dose of radiation involved, the higher the likelihood of health effects. You all understand. The higher the dose, the higher the likelihood of health effects. So we should understand the size of dose received. Then rate at which the dose is received. See, tissues can receive larger doses over a period of time. And if the dosage occurs over a number of days or weeks, the results are often not as serious if a similar dose was received in a matter of minutes only. So the rate at which the dose is it received daily basis or if it is received on weekly basis. So it depends on the rate and the results are according to that. Then part of the body exposed. Extremities such as hands or feet are able to receive a greater amount of radiation with less resulting damage than blood forming organs housed in the upper body. The age of the individual. As the person ages, cell division slows and the person is less sensitive to the effects of ionizing radiation. Once cell division has slowed, the effect of radiation are somewhat less damaging than when cells are rapidly dividing. The age also matters. And biological differences, some individuals are more sensitive to radiation than others. This is biological. The studies have been able to conclusively determine the cause of such differences. Okay, so let's start with our quiz for now. Okay. Mm, Now the image quality indicators, you can see our image quality indicators are is used to indicate the dash of the radiographic technique and not intended to be used as a measure of the size of a cavity that can be located on a radiograph. So what the dash here? Dash is the quality. This IQI is used to indicate the quality of a radiographic technique. Okay, it indicates the quality. Okay, we have studied just in the previous slides also. One of the methods of controlling the quality of a radiograph is through the use of IQI, image quality indicators. They are also referred to as penetrometers. In the previous question, it was a question in the same way, but this is a question like it is also referred to as penetrometer. Is it true or false? What do you say? True. Okay, true. Image quality indicators (IQIs) provide means of visually informing the film interpreters of the contrast sensitivity and definition of the radiograph. What do you say? True or false? It is true. Fourth question. The most commonly used IQI image quality indicators types are the whole type and the wire IQ. We have discussed these both kinds of image quality indicators in our slides. So it is true. Fifth, radiographic film consisting of a transparent blue tinted base coated on both sides with an emulsion. The emulsion consists of a gelatin containing the microscopic radiation sensitive silver halide crystals such as silver bromide and silver chloride. So what it should be true? False. It is true. The amount of risk depends on the amount of radiation dose received. Okay, careful read this. This amount of risk depends on the amount of total radiation dose received, the time over which that dose is received, and the body part exposed. So true or false? Is true. The higher the dose of the radiation received, the higher the likelihood of health effects. It is true or false? Just read it. It is true. Uh, then this time around. All people also have radioactive isotopes such as potassium 40 and carbon 14 inside their bodies. True or false? Is that true? Now, film processing is a strict science governed by rigid rules of either chemical composition or temperature or time or physical movement or all of these. What do you think? It is E. All of these. All these factors are important. Now, which of the following measures of radiation that radiographers will commonly encounter while addressing a biological effects of working with X-rays or gamma rays? Either exposure is there a measure, or dose equivalent, or dose rate, or all of these. What do you think? The answer is E. All of these. These all measures are important. Okay, these all measures are important. Now, these are the references that you can refer if you want to get more knowledge in these topics. Okay, these books are important for you as a reference. So, thank you all for today.